Are you talking with her too much about your relationship? Hi there, men's dating coach HarryWilmington here, founder of IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. And on today's show, we're going to be answering a question from a guy on Reddit who is confused because after dating his girl for a certain amount of days, she's been kind of like less there due to being in university. And so he's been having several talks with her about the relationship. And now she's suddenly decided that she doesn't want to see him anymore, even though she, quote, still has feelings for him. And he wants to know what the heck is going on. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified of when I put up new daily videos. Also, be sure to go to the website to download my free ebook, Texting Like a Boss, as well as hitting on the tip jar tab to show your support, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, there are a few problems that men have when they're in relationships. One of them is that they are not taking conversation seriously when the woman brings up certain issues and certain grievances that she has, and they're not paying enough attention to the relationship to actually realize that bad things are happening and that they need to be fixed. But the other problem that doesn't get talked about a lot is when men are over talking about a relationship to the point where a woman, for whatever reason, will suddenly start to lose interest and she won't know why, and he won't know why, because he's thinking, well, in order to make the relationship strong, we should be communicating like women always say they want, and we should be talking about it more. But lo and behold, talking about it more could actually be to the detriment of her feelings for you. And I want to get into that with this guy's message. So the title of his message is Confused, and it goes something like this. He says, I was talking to a girl for 80-ish days, and we ended things on Sunday. So 80 days, that is roughly about 3 months. So at the 3-month mark, this guy should be having the girl coming to him and saying that she's wondering what they are and that she wants a relationship, okay? But as you're going to see, things did not go that way. So he says, we had a talk Friday, and I asked her if she wanted to break things off over text, and she said, no, of course not. I really like you, and I'll be better and make time for you. And he says in parentheses, she's been busy with university, and that she's really sorry and that she will be better in the future. Now, some of you guys may hear this and think, well, is her saying that she's busy with university an excuse? I have personally dated not only doctors, teachers, and lawyers, but also women that were actively in school trying to get their graduate's degree and whatever. And when women that are trying to, have a higher position in life and are going to these high-end schools to get these high-end degrees, it takes a lot of study because some of these schools, like, for example, with law school, you have the LSATs. With the med schools, you have like the medical tests that they got to take in addition to like the laboratory hours that they got to do. So as they're trying to focus on that, they might not be as readily available to see you. And what happens with a lot of guys is that they feel as though if the woman's not coming around as much, they take it personally. Like they're feeling like, okay, well, yeah, she has to work and do studies and whatever, but like she can't find like an hour to see me and whatever. And on some level, that can be true. But when it comes down to like real hard study time and having to pass these tests, I'm sorry, university, those kind of things take precedence over your feelings about, well, she can't come hang with me for an hour to watch Netflix and chill. And I feel as though a lot of guys need to be more respectful of that because I've dated women that, again, they were in university for a while. And so like, I might only get to see them once or twice a week. And as an introvert, that is perfectly fine because I'm like, I can find other things to do. If we're still talking on the phone from time to time, like I might call twice or 3 times a week, or she's usually texting me and saying whatever, then I'm generally pretty good. Cause I'm like, as long as she's showing me attention, I can get the feel that she still likes me. And then I know once she's out of university, things open up more and we can see each other more. Or, in the case of schools, at some point there's holidays like the Christmas holidays, spring break, etc., where there's more time to really like harness that time that she has where she has more time to see me so we can get that in while she's on break or whatever. And then the other times I'll just make it a point again to see her once, maybe twice a week, depending on what her schedule is. But so many guys take that personally and they really shouldn't. They just shouldn't, but they do. And that's what ends up screwing them over because they start thinking, well, she doesn't like me. And then they start over texting and thinking, well, is something wrong? Or why can't we see each other so much? As you're going to see with this guy. Okay. So he says, so they talked about that on Friday. He says the next day, Saturday, we had another talk and she said that this is new to her. Then in parentheses, it says us getting somewhat serious. and that she'll make me a higher priority and that she doesn't want to end it. She said that I was way better than the other people she's talked to and that she really likes me. So the part where she says, okay, the new thing to her is her getting somewhat serious, what that translates to is this guy is trying to push for this thing to be more serious. And I talked about on a previous show how if you try to pressure a woman into a dating situation or a relationship that feels more serious than what the moment's currently warranting, that is a bad sign. And again, a lot of guys try to push it so quickly because they're thinking if I don't push it into something serious, then she's going to lose interest or fall for another guy or whatever. And I always preach on here that it can take 2 to 3 months to get a girl solidified in her feelings, but it can take longer. Sometimes it can take like 4 or 5 months, especially, and I can't stress this enough, if she's in university trying to focus on getting herself to a next level in her career. Okay, so her saying this is saying to this guy, I liked where we're at. I was cool. I wasn't losing feelings, but you're trying to become something very, very serious when right now I'm trying to concentrate on this. Once I get past this, I can really focus more on that thing being a thing. Continuing on. Anyways, so that was early in the day. That night, we had an in-person conversation, and she told me that we are exclusive and was mad I didn't assume we were, and that she's sorry for hurting me or not being able to hang around as much, and that she definitely didn't want to end it. So now she's telling this guy, look, dude, I assume we already had feelings for each other. I assume we were good. You're not seeing anybody else. I'm not seeing anybody else, but you're trying to push this thing, and I already thought we were there. So, but now what's happening is as he's saying this stuff, he's now displaying characteristics that are not typically ones that women fall for. The characteristics of neediness, the characteristics of desperation, of not being trustworthy, of not giving her the time that she needs to be to herself to work on these things, which is funny because, again, as an introvert, we typically want that time. But even introverted guys, I find that there's levels to being an introvert. And some introverts do want more interaction, especially with people that they like and care for and are having crushes on. That's when we get out of our head of like, I want to be alone. It's like, oh, but I can be alone with this person and be fine. But that's the mistakes that we make of thinking that just because we're now cool to have somebody around means that they're going to want to be around us all the time. And that is almost never the case. Okay. But again, this is now what? We had a talk on Friday. We had a talk in the morning Saturday. We had a talk Saturday night. Okay. Continuing on. And we had a talk a bit about where we are, and she hinted that she felt overwhelmed with school and didn't know if she had time for a serious relationship. So this guy was fine when she was just trying to, have a good time, be fun, and he was her reprieve. She's going through this serious stuff in school, and going to him was a chance for her to have fun, open up, be more loose, and relax. And that is actually what will help build attraction. But when you start bringing up, well, you're not serious enough, and now you're accusing her of not being as into the situation as she probably is, and you're giving it the idea that you're more into this than she is, and that makes her feel bad. And once women start feeling bad and start feeling like you're judging them for the amount of time they are able to give you, then they start really second guessing, do I want to give him any of my time? Because the time I'm giving is not good enough. And he seems like he needs a lot more attention than I'm currently able to give. Continuing on, she says, anyway, that was Saturday. So they had like 3 talks on Saturday. All right. Sunday, we talked for a bit again, and she was normal. Then I asked if she was okay. And then she would type, then restart. She did that a couple of times. She said ultimately that we just didn't think she could have a serious relationship, and that it sucks because I'm a super great guy, and that she really likes me, and she felt like crap doing it over text, but that she knew if she saw me, she'd change her mind because she still had feelings. She also kissed me after our in-person talk and said we will talk again soon after and hang out. Okay, so immediately I'm going to say there are a lot of lies being told here on her end, because her saying that, oh, if I told you this in person, I changed my mind, that's a lie. The reality is women don't like to have they don't like to be the ones to have to break up with the guy in person, because they really try to avoid conflict at all costs. But if they're going to have conflict, they'd rather do it where they don't have to see your face, where you can't verbally express in front of them why they need to change their mind, etc., because she's already gotten to this point. But the reason she got to this point is because they've had all these talks, and then even on Sunday where they were talking for a bit, and everything was normal until he said, so I just want to know if you're okay. Meaning, are you okay with how our talk went? Do we need to have another talk, etc., etc.? And I know this is going to sound weird to you because we've been taught as guys that women like communication and they want to talk things out. But there is a point where women will get tired of talking about the relationship. And what'll typically happen is, let's say you have a grievance about some kind, okay? So he brought up on Friday that maybe they weren't seeing each other enough, okay? So she addressed that on Friday. At that point, she's done with the conversation. She's figuring, I talked about it. I already let him know that I'm a university, but I still like him and I still want to see him. So he should be good now. But when you start asking over and over again, you are now showing insecurities. And women that see these kind of insecurities in men, it makes them look less than masculine. Most women want a guy that is A, more masculine, and B, less insecure than she is. Because a lot of women already have these insecurities in them. So when you are now bringing up these insecurities and then bringing them up over and over again, it signals to her that, oh, he's just constantly insecure. He's never going to get over this insecurity thing. And now him being insecure is making me feel insecure about if he's going to be able to handle me long term, or if he's going to be able to like understand situations I get into whereby I maybe don't have as much time. And if he was a secure guy, he'd be able to distract himself with friends or his own projects or chasing after his goals or whatever, instead of just sitting there waiting for me to get back to him. Now I'm no longer attracted. And a lot of guys do this. A lot of guys do this thing where they start saying, so I just noticed over time, like we haven't do blah, 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 and maybe this is that. And, there are women out there that are like, maybe they start losing interest and they are kind of backing away, but this doesn't seem like that case. This seems like a case where this woman was just legitimately busy with university and she was still expressing that she already thought they were exclusive. She still found him attractive and wanted to see him when she got a chance to, but now he's chased her away. And like most guys, he's not going to know why. But the why is the most important part. It's because you're showing insecurities and you're indicating things to her that look like, oh, these are traits about him that I actually didn't know were there. Now, the way he was up to this point seems like a facade and a lie. I don't want to be around this anymore. Continuing on. Anyway, I miss her and we had been making it work. And literally last week, she stalked me using Snap Maps so she could come talk to me because she thought I was mad at her. Anyway, last Wednesday, she also texted me out of the blue and said she misses me, sent hearts, and said she wished it was summer or Christmas or just wasn't in university so she could see me. So prior to their talk Friday, Wednesday, she was reaching out to him saying, I miss you, babe. University's like racking my brain right now. I so wish it was the holidays so I could see you. And this was last Wednesday, okay? So it's November. The holidays are coming up because Thanksgiving's coming up and then Christmas is coming up. So there were going to be probably like a good week coming up for Thanksgiving and then a good 2 or 3 weeks in December where she would have been back home. She would have not been so busy and she could have seen this guy and things would have been fine. And he couldn't even get to that point. And again, to be fair, this might be a guy that needs to date somebody that's out of school and has more time to devote to spending time with him, because some people are just like that. And he might be a guy that just needs that more of that attention. And I dated women, again, who were in these situations and sometimes I felt like, oh man, they're in school. I want to see them, but I know they're working on something. So I'll be respectful of that time, but man, it would be nice to be able to see them. And so if you're that guy, you just have to recognize that when you're trying to date women, you need to find out if they are still currently in school or have jobs like nurses that take 12 or 14 hours out of their day to where they're working night shifts and then they're tired in the morning and they have like a lunch time to see you. That might not work for you, and that's fine. But if you're agreeing to date somebody like this, then when these things come up, you can't be shocked or surprised that they have little time because it's already built in. But more to the point, I'll finish up here. He says, we have a mutual friend who sent me screenshots of their text, and she told her that she was sad because she really liked me and that she wanted to watch sad movies so she could cry. I want to text her again because I feel like if she was being truthful with me, we can make it work. Should I text her again? I want to fight for her. And by the way, this thing for like fighting for women, it's not a thing you have to do. Like women that want to be around you and like you are going to be around you and like you. But that's if you are doing the right things. And right now, this guy's not doing the right things. He's doing a lot of wrong things, actually. But the biggest mistake he's making is feeling this need to have to talk over and over again about the relationship, where they're at. Are you sure you're good? Do you really want to see me? I feel some kind of way. And I feel like you're maybe just not wanting to pay attention to me because blah, 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 blah. Like, dude. Women like talking and like communicating to build and grow and connect, but this amount of having to talk about a relationship, it's just not necessary. If a woman is having a problem, more often than not, before she straight up dumps you, she will come to you and air out grievances that hopefully you'll pay attention to. And what happens usually is they'll air out the grievances, men won't listen, and then the woman will be like, I'm going to back away. But this wasn't the case. This woman was coming to him on a Wednesday saying, I want to see you, I want to be with you. We got to figure out something to make that work. And then he goes to like Friday, trying to talk about it. Saturday, trying to talk about it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Sunday, trying to text her and talk about it. And that gets very taxing and tiring. So guys, don't feel like you need to talk about your relationship all the time. It's good to do check-ins. It's good to say, hey, babe, at times I just want to make sure we're good and where we're at, whatever. But it shouldn't be on a back-to-back daily basis. Like you should be doing check-ins like once a month, maybe once every other month to see if you're good, okay? But this woman was just simply a woman that was in university trying to get her extra degree or whatever and was busy, and this guy couldn't handle it. And if you're a guy that can't handle that, you need to know that. But if you're agreeing to a woman that's in a situation, don't keep hounding her with, I never see you and you never see me, blah, 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 blah. Like you should know going into this what you're signing up for. The reality is most women today are going for higher degrees and they might be busy. And that's also honestly why a lot of them are single, because they're going for these high degrees and then they're trying to date men that will hopefully understand that. And most men don't, because they're feeling if she's not around all the time, it gets to their ego, it makes them feel some kind of way and they can't handle it. So you just have to know if you're a guy that can handle that. But if you agree to it, stop complaining and stop talking so darn much about the relationship. Now that you've heard from me, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever dated a woman that was too busy? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment down below or write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Are you ready to learn killer icebreakers that attract women on dating apps? Go to introvertdatingsuccess.com right now to watch my free video training, How to Get Attractive, Feminine, Emotionally Stable Women Dying to Respond to Your First Messages on Dating Apps Without Using Sleazy Pickup Lines, which will give you key secrets to attracting women and sparking conversation with them online the smart way. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below on this video, and catch new episodes 7 days a week right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out other episodes so you too can learn how to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.